Thank you very much. My name is Therese, and I'm from Sweden. It's far away and it's cold, so I'm really happy to be here. I want to thank CVM and especially you, Vasco, for inviting me to the sun and to this great conference. It's been a week full of interesting seminars and meetings. Today I will talk about two projects that are designed for young people, one for high school and one for immigrants. Many of them are young. To put our work in place, I need to say a few things about Sweden. We are almost 10 million people. Everyone has at least one bank account. Okay? And no one uses cash. And that makes us a bit different from some of your countries. And then you can wonder if financial education is really necessary. And I would say that it has never been as necessary as it is today. No? Oh. I work at the Swedish Financial Supervisory Authority, and we are the bank police for the entire financial market in Sweden. And that is important for how we work with financial education. We see financial education as consumer protection, of course. It's part of the work we do. We do regulations so that the consumers can find good products on the market, and we want the consumers to be good consumers. We want them to buy the right things for them to do the right choices. Oh, bad. But we also see consumer protection that it needs more than education, because if you get education, you want to learn more. So in Sweden, we have consumer bureaus and a web page and a phone number you can call, and it's called Hello Consumer. You can call Hello Consumer whenever you want and ask about anything that has to do with being a consumer. We also have free advice around of Sweden. And this is not the advice you can get at a bank. This is advice without product placement, without selling anything. You can go and get help with your finance whenever you want. See if I can do this. No, I can't. Here we go. Personal finance is a topic at school in Sweden. It's mandatory, and you start the first year at school. If you read the curriculum, the first year in school, you are supposed to learn about money and why it's a good thing to save. And then you can find it all up to high school. Since 2011, the first year of high school, everyone has personal finance in school. And that is great, of course. But there is one thing that is a problem, or it's a good thing, depends on how you see it. And it's up to every teacher. Even though it's mandatory, if a teacher goes into the classroom and say, "Good morning, today we are going to talk about money," and doesn't really feel that it is important, it's not going to be good education. To teach personal finance, you really have to believe that it makes a difference. You have to make the young believe that they can change their lives, that personal finance make a difference for them. In Sweden, we have this network. It's called Gilla din ekonomi. It's Swedish. It's like your finance in English. It's us. It's authorities, it's the private sector, and it's organizations, and we all have the same goal. We want to teach personal finance. And because we are the bank police, the banks and the insurance companies and everyone from the financial market knows that they cannot sell anything when they are educating with us. And we have this logo, so when you teach financial education without selling, you can do that under this logotype. But then you have to follow the rule, no selling at all. In the network, we work like, we call it an onion. In the core, we have the advisory board. We meet once a month and talk about different projects. We have the active participations, who are actually, most of them are teachers. And we have the passive participations that we have meetings for twice a year. We see finance as a lifetime of learning. Even though we have it in school, maybe you don't listen, maybe you are not that interested at the time, maybe things happen later in life that makes you need some more education. We have projects for the lifetime. And when you are new in Sweden, there's a lot of things you might learn just because we have a different system than the one you are used to. This is our teachers, some of them, and the reason I want to show them is that this is the rock stars of finance in Sweden. You don't know them, of course, but if something happens in Sweden and there's something that should be talked about in the news, these are the guys that show up. And that means that when we have some kind of education going on, people will show up just because they trust these guys. So we think it's important to have good teachers, and teachers that can get people to come and listen. And our teachers teach teachers. It can be teachers in school, it can be teachers for workplaces, it can be teachers for seniors. Everywhere where we can find someone who wants to teach someone else, we try to make a project. And today I was going to talk just a little bit about two projects we have for young and immigrants. We start with this one, Koll på cashen. I don't know how you say that in English, actually. You just should know where your money is, I guess. This was the first project we did, and it's still running. We have been doing this since 2008. We wanted to do something for high school. At that time, it wasn't in the curriculum for high school, so we had to make teachers want to teach finance. So the first thing we did was we asked them what they wanted. And they wanted, at that time, a movie. So then we wanted to know what was going to be in the movie, and then we asked the students. So we made a movie together with the students, and this is the second one, and we are in January we're going to release the third one, because if you are talking to young people, you have to do new ones, otherwise they won't look at it at all. And we have this handbook for teachers, of course, and some. It's a web page, but everything is in Swedish, so I guess you're not going to understand it anyway. And this is our project for immigrants. When we went around Sweden talking about the high school projects, I met some people that used to be teaching immigrants. And I asked them how they taught the immigrants about finance in Sweden. And they told me that they made their own materials. Someone said that she was bringing a packet of milk. Someone used something else. And we did start this pre-study just to see if there might be some teachers that really needed a book about finance. And the first thing they said to us was, we don't know anything about finance. We are the teacher for Swedish. We teach these people Swedish. And the other thing they said is that they don't have any money. They have a really low budget when it comes to teaching immigrants Swedish. So then we realized that if we make a book in Swedish that just happens to be about finance, we might be able to teach the immigrants private finance. And we did, and we made this book together with teachers and students. Here it is. And it's free, of course. And we made it, the first one, in 2009. And we print 40,000 of these books every year, and everything is used. So what I really want to say with this is, we think that to make successful projects, we need to involve the teachers and the students, because they are the only one who really knows what they need and want. And as I said before, no selling, only facts, and everything we have is, of course, available on iPads and Twitter and Facebook and YouTube and so on. And I just want to say the final words, that I think that the teachers that teach financial education is the ones that really can change the world. Thank you.